The time I accidentally joined a cult, kinda. Okay, so this happened last summer when I was broke, dumb, and in serious need of a personality reset. My roommate had just moved out, taking the couch, the toaster, and somehow even the shower curtain. I was spiraling. So naturally, I did what any rational 20-something would do. I quit my barista job mid-shift, packed a duffel bag with questionable contents, 3 tank tops, an expired jar of peanut butter, and like 7 pairs of underwear, and hit the road. No real plan. Just me, my dented Civic, and the dangerously loud audiobook of Eat, Pray, Love that I pirated in college. I'd barely made it 3 hours out of town when the Civic's check engine light turned into a full-blown stroke. So I pulled off into the nearest town, which I swear to God looked like a Pinterest board threw up in the mountains. Quaint little shops. Homemade candles. A coffee spot called Been There, Done That. I was charmed and also super suspicious, because nothing is ever this cute without hiding something deeply unhinged underneath. That's when I saw the flyer. Handwritten, taped to the lamppost outside a vintage bookstore. Reconnect with your true self. All are welcome. Free community retreat this weekend. Meals provided. Now, I know how this sounds. But I was hungry, alone, and spiritually bankrupt. Also, meals provided. So I scanned the QR code, which led to a very 2008-looking website that promised healing hikes and non-linear journaling, whatever the hell that means. The retreat was already happening, like, right now, and it was just 20 minutes up the mountain. My phone was at 17%, I had 0 cell service, and I was pretty sure I'd seen at least one crow watching me like it had a walkie-talkie. So, obviously, I went. Welcome to the vibe zone. So I followed the twisty gravel road up the mountain, dodging potholes and second-guessing all my life choices. At one point, a raccoon just straight up stared me down from the middle of the road like it knew where I was going and was disappointed in me already. Eventually, I roll up to this big-ass wooden gate with some kind of carved spiral symbol on it. The kind of thing that screams either healing energy or human sacrifice. No in between. There's no one around. No guard, no sign-in sheet. Just a painted wooden arrow that says, "Sparkles this way to Transformation Sparkles." They really love their sparkles, y'all. I drive through and boom, there it is. A sprawling meadow with yurts. Like, actual yurts. Some hammocks strung between trees. A giant communal fire pit. A random goat just vibing. I park next to a Prius covered in bumper stickers like, "Coexist," and I brake for mushrooms. Out of nowhere, a woman appears. Barefoot. Flowing skirt. Dreadlocks that definitely weren't culturally appropriate. She introduces herself as Moonbeam and hugs me before I can even say my name. I'm not a hugger. I almost died. "Welcome, Seeker," she whispers in my ear like we're in a Nicholas Sparks fever dream. You made it just in time for the sunset grounding ritual. I want to tell her I'm just here for the free food and maybe some mild enlightenment, but she's already pulling me toward a circle of people sitting cross-legged on yoga mats. Everyone looks like they sell essential oils on Instagram. One guy is shirtless and holding a tambourine. Another is crying but like, gently. I sit. Because what else do you do in that situation? Moonbeam hands me a smooth rock and tells me to breathe my pain into it. I honestly didn't know how much pain I had until I was holding that rock. I mean, damn, Brenda left with the shower curtain. We chant. We hum. Someone says they forgave the ocean. No idea what that means. And then the sun sets. And I gotta say, it's beautiful. The kind of beautiful that sneaks up on you while you're trying to figure out if you're in a cult. Afterward, we get quinoa stew and some weird tea that tasted like sadness and cloves. I tell myself I'll sleep in my car and bounce in the morning. Spoiler, I did not leave in the morning. I think I might be somebody's spiritual wife now. So I crash in the Civic that night, right? Feet on the dash, hoodie for a pillow, doors locked because I still don't trust Moonbeam not to climb into my dreams and rearrange my chakras. At dawn, I wake up to a knock on the window. It's not Moonbeam, though, it's a dude named River. Or maybe it was River with 2 R's. Hard to say. He's got this man bun situation, a linen tunic, and cheekbones that could slice cheese. Hands me a mug of hot something and says, "The earth called. She's ready for you now." Now, I'm not proud of this, but I followed him. We hiked to this ridge overlooking the valley. It's gorgeous. Like, postcard-level gorgeous. And up there, sitting cross-legged in a little triangle of candles, is a woman in a cloak. Like full-on medieval cloak, red velvet, and everything. She's got a notebook, a singing bowl, and an all-feather. I wish I was making that up. River introduces her as the Oracle. No other name. Just the Oracle. She opens the notebook, doesn't look at me, and says, "You arrived last night. You are full of pain. Your aura's fractured. You carry unresolved dreams in your third rib." I have no idea what that means, but I check my rib like an idiot anyway. Then she goes, "But the lake forgives you." Excuse me? There is no lake in sight. There is no context. I say, okay, because what the hell else do you say to that? Then she looks at River and says she's ready. He smiles. I do not. Apparently, this means I'm invited to join the inner path, which is either an elite spiritual experience or a really slow MLM. Either way, it includes silent reflection hours, something called ecstatic drumming, and partnered soul anchoring. Me? What's that? River, all dreamy-like. It's where two kindred spirits tether their energy through shared intention and prolonged eye contact. Me? So, dating. He just smiled like I was too basic to understand. Anyway, I said yes. Because honestly, I didn't want to go home. Not yet. And despite all the weirdness, despite the tambourines and the goat, who I've learned is named Kevin and is absolutely running this whole place, I felt kinda okay. Like maybe the lake did forgive me. For something I didn't even know I did. So I stayed. And that's when things really started to get weird. Midnight, moonlight, and way too much skin. Alright, so I've been at the retreat for 2 full days now, and I've stopped pretending like I'm just visiting. I've gone full yurt mode. I even started a non-linear journal, which is just a regular notebook. I scribble cryptic phrases in like, "Don't trust the lavender oil," and "Kevin watches." Day 3 starts with a breakfast circle where we all honor our nourishment. I got shamed by a woman named Fern because I tried to eat a banana without thanking the sun. My bad, I guess. But the real weird kicked in around 10 p.m. when River knocked on my yurt and whispered, "It's time." So I follow him again, because apparently I have no self-preservation left, to a clearing in the woods lit entirely by candles and moonlight. There's a big-ass circle of people in robes. White robes. No shoes. No bras. No explanation. I'm handed a robe and told to release my worldly identifiers. I asked if I could at least wear underwear. They said it was optional. I opted. We all hold hands, and Moonbeam starts chanting in some language I'm 98% sure she made up. Then the Oracle shows up, looking like a Hot Topic witch goddess, and starts waving around burning sage like she's trying to smoke out a ghost. Suddenly, a group of drummers, where did they even come from, starts pounding out this rhythm that somehow feels like it's coming from inside my skull. Everyone starts dancing. And I don't mean casual wedding dancing, I mean full body, eyes rolled back, possessed by ancestral spirits kind of dancing. I try to fake it. I really do. But I mostly just flail like a malfunctioning inflatable tube man. Someone bumps into me, and my robe slips open in the front. I panic, trip over a log, and land ass first in the ceremonial flower pile. A guy near me whispers, "That was the most honest movement I've seen all night." His name is Juniper. Of course it is. Somehow, I end up crying. Like, not sad crying. Just releasing. I don't know if it was the music, the moon, or the trauma of showing half my tit in front of the Oracle, but I felt lighter. It was weirdly beautiful. At the end, we all sit in silence while someone plays a single note on a flute for 15 minutes straight. No clue what that was supposed to do, but Kevin the goat showed up and laid down in my lap. I think I've been chosen. I have been assigned firewood empath, and I don't know what that means. Okay. So after the moonlit chaos of the night before, aka the night of accidental boob, I wake up to a bell being rung outside my yurt. Like, aggressively. Someone is yelling something about sacred chores. Turns out, today's the Harmony Hustle, which is just a fancy way of saying everyone gets a job for the day. There's a huge color-coded task board out front of the mess yurt. Yes, that's a thing, and it lists everyone's role. I find my name next to Firewood Empath. Yeah, that's a real thing here. I asked Moonbeam what it meant and she said, "You won't gather the wood, you'll feel which logs are ready." Ma'am. So now I'm wandering the woods barefoot, because I guess shoes block earth wisdom, trying to vibe check pieces of dead tree. I poke one with a stick and whisper, "Are you ready to fulfill your destiny?" Like a maniac. Honestly, not sure if I'm losing my mind or finding it at this point. Meanwhile, I pass Juniper, remember robe flute guy from the ritual, who is currently painting affirmations on rocks and placing them in a spiral formation around the goat pen. I ask him what he's doing. He says realigning Kevin's root chakra. Kevin just sneezes and eats a paper towel. Later that afternoon, we have communal reflection time. Everyone's sitting in a circle again, because of course, and we're supposed to share something called a shadow truth. It's like truth or dare, but the dare is confronting your own emotional baggage while 30 people stare into your soul. My turn comes and I panic, so I blurt, "I once ghosted a guy just because he pronounced quinoa like quinoa." There's a pause. Then Moonbeam whispers, "You were protecting your energy." Everyone nods. I think someone even snaps. I have never felt so validated by a group of dehydrated strangers. After that, we do silent chewing dinner. No talking. Just weird soup and intense eye contact. Every time I looked up, Juniper was staring at me like he could hear my aura humming. He later offered me a homemade granola bar from his personal satchel. It tasted like betrayal and cinnamon. I think I'm being recruited for something. The secret yurt and the cuddle ambush. So I'm still emotionally digesting my firewood empath duties and my new bond with Kevin the goat, who now follows me around like I'm his emotional support human, when I get a note slipped under my yurt flap. Like, actual paper. Handwritten. Folded, all sneaky. It just says, "Meet at the red yurt after moonrise. Come alone. Bring your shadow truth." What does that mean? Naturally, I go. The red yurt is off the main path, half hidden in trees, and has this creepy dreamcatcher situation hanging over the door. I duck inside expecting either a secret ritual or a surprise intervention, but instead it's just 3 people sitting cross-legged on floor pillows, surrounded by tea lights and those incense sticks that smell like soap and despair. Guess who's there? Juniper. Again. Staring like he knows I once emotionally dissociated during a yoga class. The others are Raven, who wears only black and might be part bat, and a guy named Todd, who has legally changed his name to Todd and insists we pronounce the A with a Scandinavian lilt. We don't. Juniper welcomes me with a nod and says, "We've seen your resonance." Excuse me? They start talking about how the rest of the group isn't ready for the real work, and how the Red Yurt is a place for energetic alignment free from performative consciousness. I think they mean the cult within the cult? I'm still processing that when Todd scoots next to me and goes, "Do you consent to intention cuddling?" Friends. I froze. Like, what is the correct answer when a bearded man in harem pants asks to spoon you for spiritual clarity? Before I can come up with a firm, "Maybe tomorrow," Juniper saves me. Says, "Let her decide when her energy feels safe." Bless you, you weird mystical weirdo. Instead, we all just sit there and sip something called Starroot Elixir, which tastes like ginger and commitment issues, while they talk about the shift, which is apparently a big event that's happening soon. No one says what it is exactly, just that it's coming. And when it does, only the attuned will understand their purpose. I'm sorry, but what kind of endgame are we in? I play it cool. I nod. I hum in agreement. I say stuff like, that resonates, and hope no one notices I still sleep with a nightlight. Eventually, I excuse myself with a fake "I need to meditate alone," and walk straight back to my yurt, slam the door, and journal aggressively. They're planning something. Kevin knows. Must find granola stash. That night, I can't sleep. Partly because of the weird yurt cult, but also partly because I kind of want to know what the shift actually is. Someone's missing, and I'm probably overreacting, except I'm definitely not. So the next morning, I wake up with serious post, red yurt energy. You know, That weird buzz you get when you've been low-key inducted into a secret society via tea and weird vibes? Yeah, that. I try to shake it off. Go find Kevin. He headbutts me in the shin with affection and possibly mild concern. We sit in the grass like two emotionally exhausted war buddies. Morning circle starts, but I notice something's off. The usual head count is missing someone. Her name is Peony. I swear I'm not making that up. Peony was sweet, quiet, and deeply obsessed with crystals. She always wore 7 of them around her neck like magical Flavor Flav. Yesterday, she was at the soup circle. Today? Nada. Moonbeam says she's been called into solitude, like that explains anything. I whisper to Fern, is that, like, a spa day or a punishment? Fern looks spooked. Just mutters, no one ever comes back from solitude the same. Cool, 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 cool. So I go snooping. Because obviously. I'm not exactly Nancy Drew, but I've watched every season of Unsolved Mysteries, and I once broke into my ex's Netflix account using his dog's birthday. I start with Peony's yurt. It's zipped up tight, but I can see her crystal pouch hanging on the hook outside, which is weird because she never takes those off. I knock. Nothing. I check the flap. Locked from the inside. Which? What? Later, I ask Juniper about it, real casual. Like, haha, you ever notice when someone just disappears and no one reacts? And he gets this look. You know that face people make when they're trying not to say too much, but also trying to seem important? He just says, Peony's path required elevation. The oracle said she's transcending the circle. Sir, that is not a normal thing to say about a living human being. I start to panic spiral. What if the shift is some next-level culty sacrifice situation? What if the Red Yurt crew is actually a doomsday squad? What if Kevin is in on it? I keep it together. Barely. I start stashing snacks and bottled water under my sleeping bag, like some squirrel prepping for spiritual apocalypse. Then, just as I'm about to write dig escape tunnel, in my journal, River knocks on my yurt. He says, the oracle has summoned you. The oracle knows things she shouldn't. So I follow River through the woods to the oracle's yurt, which is somehow twice as big as everyone else's and smells like patchouli and existential dread. I'm sweating. Not just from the hike or the anxiety sweats, like soul sweat. You know when your whole body just knows you're about to get your mind flipped inside out? Yeah. The oracle is sitting in the center of a massive rug shaped like a lotus. There's no chair, no table, just her, a crystal bowl, and a goddamn raven perched on a branch behind her like this is Hogwarts for emotionally unstable adults. She doesn't say hi. Doesn't even look at me. Instead, she says, you carry resistance. Your spirit is sharp, like broken glass. Ma'am. I am barely holding it together on the best of days. Please don't come at me with poetic shade. She tells me to sit. I do, cross-legged, trying to look chill while clutching my knees like they're emotional support limbs. Then she pulls out a file. A literal manila folder. And inside? A printed-out screenshot of my old Instagram. Like, from 2 years ago. Me in a Halloween costume. A zombie cheerleader with one shoe on, flipping off the camera. She lays it in front of me like a tarot card. This was your lowest vibrational point, she says, deadpan. Lady. That was just college. Then she whips out another one. A screenshot of my LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn. You know how spiritually violated you feel when someone uses corporate social media in a metaphysical takedown? She continues. You've been walking between worlds, constructing a version of yourself to survive capitalism, while your inner child withers. Okay, now that one hit a little too close to home. I ask, where did you even get this? She smiles. Doesn't answer. Instead, she starts talking about the shift. Apparently, it's happening in 2 nights. Full moon. Big bonfire. Whole retreat-wide ritual. But here's the kicker. You've been chosen to anchor the new frequency. I laugh. Not because it's funny, but because when someone says something like that with zero irony, your brain just short-circuits and goes straight to giggle mode. She doesn't blink. Just says, your energy is disruptive. That's exactly what we need. And then, this part still messes me up. She reaches out, touches my forehead with one cold-ass finger, and whispers. Peony resisted too. I swear to Kevin the goat I left my body for like 5 seconds. I stumble out of that yurt feeling like I just got psychically mugged. And somewhere in the woods behind me, I swear I heard the damn raven laugh. Plans, paranoia, and a yurt escape strategy. So I get back to my yurt, brain totally fried, hands shaking, heart doing jazz hands. The oracle just said Peony resisted, and now she's gone. I'm not saying this is a horror movie, but it's giving season finale cliffhanger energy, and I am not the final girl material. I panic eat a stale protein bar and start scribbling in my journal like, get out. Full moon equals shift. Peony equals warning. Kevin equals neutral party, maybe spy. Then I do something even I can't believe. I go to Juniper. Yeah, I know. Trusting a dude named after a shrub is rarely a good move, but he's the only one who's ever questioned the retreat out loud, and he once gave me granola, which in cult terms is basically a blood oath. He's painting something on a tree stump when I find him. I blurt everything. The oracle, the Instagram shaming, the full moon shift, the weird-ass file with my LinkedIn page. Juniper just stares. Quietly. Then he says, okay. I've been waiting for someone else to feel it. Feel what, Juniper? Please don't start talking in riddles right now. He tells me there's been whispers before. About a transcendence ritual. People who leave and never come back. And then he pulls up his sleeve and shows me a list written on his arm in marker. 5 names. All people who've gone into solitude and never returned. Peonies is the most recent. Me, dude, what the actual hell is this place? Him. I think it started as a real retreat. But the oracle? She's taken it further. She thinks she's chosen. Some people believe her. Others don't. They just pretend to go along because it's easier. That night, we whisper a plan under the cover of intentional hammock swinging. If I don't feel safe after the full moon thing, I meet Juniper by the goat pen with my duffel and we get the hell out. Simple. Except nothing at this place is ever that simple. Because the next day, Moonbeam shows up at my yurt with Kevin, like a furry little narc, and says, "You're being moved to a different sleeping pod for energetic recalibration." And that's how I got yurt napped. Peony's journal and the bonfire from hell. So I get reassigned to a new yurt on the far edge of the camp, way off the main path, wedged between the compost pit and some thorny-ass bushes that feel symbolic. There's no zipper on the flap, just a dream veil, aka a sheer scarf with glitter and no structural integrity. Awesome. Inside, 1 mat, 1 candle, and a tiny pile of lavender bundles that feel like surveillance equipment. Moonbeam says I'm being spiritually detoxed before the shift. I say, cool, can I get my duffel bag back? She smiles. All your old attachments will be returned after. After what, Moonbeam? After I transcend into compost like Peony? That night, I sneak out. Because obviously, I've stashed a rock to weigh down the dream veil. Thanks, firewood empath training, and I haul ass to the old meditation yurt where Juniper said he left something for me. Inside, hidden under the floor cushion, is a beat-up journal. Leather-bound. Covered in crystal stickers. It's Peony's. I flip through it with my headlamp on low. Most of it is normal woo-woo stuff. Moon cycles, dream logs, a poem about Kevin. Honestly, not bad. But toward the end? Shit gets dark. I saw them carrying someone last night. They were limp. Silent. It wasn't part of a ceremony. The oracle told me I'd been called higher. I said I wanted to leave. She said, you already have. They don't let you go. Not really. Not once you've seen the red yurt. The last page is just a single sentence written over and over. Trust the goat. Trust the goat. Trust the goat. I almost screamed. Then I hear something outside. Footsteps. Voices. I stash the journal, kill the light, and duck behind the yurt wall just in time to hear Todd and Raven walk by whispering about prepping the circle. I catch one phrase clear as hell. She doesn't know she's the key. F***K. Who is she? Okay, it's probably me. But let me pretend. I bolt. I make it back to my yurt just in time to find my duffel. Sitting there. Neatly zipped. With a note on top. For your comfort during the shift. The oracle. Inside? My dragonfly underwear. They know everything. The shift, the fire, and the absolute panic. It's full moon night. The Oracle's big show. The energetic convergence of the awakened, which is cult speak for, we're about to do some freaky shit in a circle. Everyone's dressed in white. Again. I'm talking robes, sashes, weird leafy crowns. I look like the world's least enthusiastic bridal party reject, holding a sacred stone they handed me at dusk. It's just a rock. Probably from the compost path. Mine smelled like fermented kale. They march us up to the ridge where the massive fire pit's already lit and crackling like hell summoned it. Juniper's in the circle across from me. He won't meet my eyes. Kevin's tied to a tree, looking personally offended. The Oracle steps out in a full velvet situation, holding that same creepy bowl, and she starts chanting in that made-up language again. People join in. There's drumming. Dancing. A flute, of course. Always a goddamn flute. Then she points at me. Dead silence. Tonight, she says, we anchor the new frequency through our chosen conduit. Cool, cool, cool. Definitely not about to get sacrificed. She waves me forward. I play along, stepping into the center like I'm not mentally Googling how to legally escape a cult in sandals. The flames are hot. My palms are sweating. My stomach is doing backflips. Then she says it. She carries the fracture. The resistance. The key to cleansing. Juniper steps forward. Finally meets my eyes. He mouths something. I think it's run. I freeze. The Oracle raises the bowl. The crowd hums in unison like a hive of very chill bees. And that's when I hear it, Kevin bellowing. Like full-on goat screaming. Chaos. He breaks loose. Charges the fire pit. Someone screams. Someone falls. The Oracle stumbles back and drops the damn bowl, which shatters and sends herbs and whatever the hell powder flying. I take my shot. Grab my duffel. Book it down the hill. No idea where I'm going, just away. Behind me, I hear Moonbeam yelling something about the vessel fleeing. I trip, rip my robe, and keep going. Barefoot. Half sobbing. Definitely losing a sandal to the dirt gods. Juniper catches up. There's a path by the creek, he pants. It's how I got in. We can go now. We run. Kevin follows. Fleeing a cult with a goat and no dignity. So picture this. It's 2 a.m. I'm sprinting through the woods in a half-shredded robe, gripping a duffel bag. Juniper's behind me holding my water bottle like it's a baby, and Kevin the goat is galloping beside us like he's late for a farm rave. The moon is lighting our way like a bad teen movie. I swear I hear chanting behind us, but that might have just been my lungs trying to call for help. We reach the creek Juniper mentioned. It's more like a glorified ditch, but beggars can't be choosers when you're fleeing a psycho dream cult. We wade through ankle-deep muck, crawl under some thorny-ass branches, and finally break through to a gravel road. My legs are shaking, my heart's a jackhammer, and Kevin decides now is a good time to take a dramatic dump. Freedom never smelled so weird. We hoof it, a mile and a half down the road until we hit a gas station. It's one of those 24-hour joints with a flickering sign and a cashier who looks like he's seen everything and doesn't give a single shit. I walk in barefoot, covered in mud and sage ash, holding a goat on a makeshift leash, thanks to Juniper's ripped sash. I slap a $20 on the counter and croak, I need a phone. And probably therapy. Juniper calls his cousin. We crash at his place that night. Well, Juniper and I crash. Kevin gets the backyard and eats 3 hostas. The next day, we try to report the retreat. Here's the kicker. There's nothing. No website. No social. The QR code that led me there? Dead. GPS coordinates? Lead to an empty field. The only proof I have is Peony's journal, my busted sandals, and a goat with an attitude. We go back a week later with Juniper's cousin and a deputy friend. The yurts? Gone. Fire pit? Gone. Kevin? Still vibing. Weirdest of all? There's a big rock at the center of the field. On it, painted in soft blue cursive. Thank you for anchoring the shift. I became a Reddit urban legend and also maybe a goat mom. So after the dramatic forest escape, I tried to go back to regular life. Keyword, tried. I spent a week at Juniper's cousin's place, sleeping on a beanbag chair and eating Eggo waffles while trying to emotionally debrief from the fact I was almost used as a human conduit for a mystery ritual. Kevin the goat fully settled in like a suburban retiree. He got his own kiddie pool and everything. Juniper and I didn't talk much. I think we were both still trying to process whether what happened was a cult, a scam, or some very committed community theater with a dark side. He was quiet. Sweet. Definitely still a mystery boy. But he stuck around. Then one night I post a TLDR version of the story on Reddit. It blows the hell up. Like, thousands of upvotes. People making memes of Kevin in a cape. Someone made a playlist called Vibe with Kevin, Goat Mode activated. More wild? I get a DM. From a girl named Peony. I swear I dropped my phone. Turns out, she did leave. She escaped 2 days before I showed up, but was too scared to go to the police. She'd been watching the subreddit because she suspected the shift was still happening, and when she saw my post, she freaked out. She recognized Moonbeam and the Oracle, and she confirmed something I hadn't even dared to believe. The Oracle? Not her real name. Just a former yoga influencer who got super into psychedelic mushrooms and lost her teaching license. So Peony's alive. Safe. Lives in Asheville now and teaches pottery. She mailed me a ceramic pendant shaped like Kevin's face with the words, "Trust the goat," etched on the back. I wear it under my shirt. Every damn day. As for Juniper, he's doing better. Turns out he had joined the retreat after losing someone close to him. He thought the rituals might bring him peace. They didn't. But our ridiculous escape? That helped. We still talk. Kevin lives with Juniper now. They have a fenced backyard and Kevin has a little red sweater for cold nights. He's Instagram famous. Obviously. And me? I finally got a real therapist. I stopped doom scrolling. I work part-time at a bookstore now, where people constantly ask me, "Hey, are you the goat cult girl?" Yeah, I am. And I wouldn't change a thing. The part where I realize I'm not the same person anymore. It's funny how when you survive something insane, people either treat you like a legend or a cautionary tale. Some girl at the bookstore whispered to her friend, "That's her. She's the one with the goat." Like I'm an exhibit. And yeah, I play it off. I laugh. I tell the wild story. I lean into the memes and the Reddit thread and the weird fan art someone made of Kevin in a wizard hat, which lives on my fridge, obviously. But when the noise dies down, when it's just me, alone, brushing my teeth or lying awake at night, I still feel it. That cold knot in my stomach. Because part of me wonders what would have happened if Kevin hadn't lost his damn mind and charged that fire. If I'd taken one more step into that circle. If the Oracle had spoken my real name instead of my energy label. If Juniper hadn't mouthed "run." It's like I peeked behind the curtain of something way bigger than a cult retreat. Not magic exactly, but possibility. The terrifying kind. The kind that tells you reality is soft clay, and the wrong person with enough belief can mold it into something beautiful or something monstrous. And that stuck with me. I'm different now. I don't just breeze through life on autopilot. I ask more questions. I trust my gut, even when it sounds crazy. I deleted half my socials, started spending more time outside, journaling, like, for real, not just paranoid yurt scribbles. I meditate. I breathe now. And sometimes, when I'm overwhelmed, I close my eyes and picture Kevin headbutting evil into the fire. It helps. I'm not saying I'm healed, but I'm healing. And weirdly, I think I needed that whole Bats hit experience to finally start. One last message, and then I'll let this be just a story. It's been months now. Life's normal again, mostly. I've got a decent routine, I sleep more than I panic, and I only occasionally flinch when I hear flutes. Juniper still sends me updates on Kevin, he's thriving. Recently headbutt a trampoline and won, whatever that means. Kevin, not Juniper. Actually, maybe both. Anyway, I was folding laundry one night when I got a weird email. No subject line. No sender. Just a one-line message. Not everyone left. The shift never ends. I stared at it for 20 full minutes. Thought about deleting it. Thought about responding. I didn't do either. But I did screenshot it. Then I called Peony. She hadn't gotten anything. Neither had Juniper. No one else from the thread reached out. And when I went to check the old Reddit post, gone. Not taken down. Just vanished. Now, I'm not saying I believe in curses or ghosts or energy portals. I don't think the Oracle is lurking in my bushes with a crystal dagger and a moon chant. But I do think whatever we walked into out there wasn't just peace and vibes and goat-friendly bonding. I think it was something thin. Like reality itself got soft around the edges for a minute. And some people like the Oracle, like Moonbeam, figured out how to slip between the cracks. I don't know what they're doing now. I don't want to know. This is the part of the movie where the survivor shuts the door, draws the blinds, and starts a garden. So that's what I'm doing. Metaphorically and literally. I've got a few plants now. I go for runs. I still wear the Kevin pendant. Sometimes I write down pieces of the story. New details bubble up in dreams or weird flashbacks. But mostly, I let it live here. With you. As a story. A ridiculous, chaotic, terrifying, hilarious story. Because if I've learned anything, it's this. Sometimes life hands you a goat and a second chance at being yourself. Don't waste either.